A warm welcome to today's video. I'm Sam. I have spent thousands of hours inside of Notion building systems. Systems for my life as a student, systems for my business as a private tutor, and now I build semi-automated onboarding systems for scaling service-based businesses. In this video, I'm going to show you, and we're going to walk through how to build a onboarding system completely for free inside of Notion. There's no 30-day free trial, there's no one-time payment, there's no subscription, there's nothing like that. What you're going to get at the end of it is a complete onboarding system, which will help you track your employees as they train. It will help you edit documents and keep them all in the same place, all, as I've said, for free. If you get on well with this system and would like help with automations, then my contact information is below. And if you would just like me to implement a even better system than this inside of Notion for your business, you know where to look in the description. With that being said, thank you for watching and I hope you find this video helpful. With that being said, let's get into building this system. First thing we need to do is create a new team space. Now, depending on the type of Notion account you have, you might need to create one, of course. Depending on the type of workspace you have, you might already have access to create a new team space. If not, this is how you do it. You're going to go into settings. Under workspace, you're going to go into team spaces, new team space, and then you're going to call this your business. I'm going to build a fictional business today called Bright Start. And Bright Start, just as an example, are going to be a babysitting business. And so we're going to have some babysitters, part-time, full-time. You'll see as we build. But all of this you can follow along to as well. Hopefully you are. We're going to skip this section. So we're not going to invite anyone yet. We'll do that later. And there we go. We have our team space built called Bright Start. The first part we're going to build is the topics database. To do that, I'm going to go into add new. We're going to build an empty database called topics database. Inside our topics database, we need a few different properties. The first property we're just going to keep as add name, so we'll just have the name of them. Next is going to be a multi-select, and the multi-select is going to be for the topic itself, and that will become clear why we need that as we go on. So it's going to be topic. The next one we need is sequence. All we mean by the sequence is the order in which each topic, each training topic is done. So for Bright Start, we're going to have some health and safety stuff, some safeguarding. These are all going to be in different topics, and those are going to be trained 1 and 2, first and second, and then company values, things like that, they're going to go later on. So sequence is the next one. After sequence, we're going to add a brief description, and that's already suggested to us. Finally, we're going to add a multi-select again, and the multi-select is for required roles. And all that means is which topics are required for which roles. Now, the full-time nannies, they're going to need all of the training. Part-time staff might only need some of that. Admin staff might not need all of it as well, and so required roles is going to keep that for us, keep that information for us. What I'm also going to do quickly is add in a few example topics. I'm going to add an icon, and I'm going to just make everything look a bit better by dragging across these things. Okay, our topics database is now fully set up. You can see that I've filled in all of these properties. I've got some examples in here. I've just shortened some of the columns here. Now we're set up. The next database we're going to build is our roles database. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add new, empty database, and name this. In our roles database, we need a brief description. Now we might get the AI bit. There we go. We're going to need a link to our employees. So we're going to select person here. This means we'll be able to see which people are our part-time nannies, who are full-time nannies. And then a more complicated property, we're going to add a relation here. and we're going to relate it to our topics database. So now in our roles database, we can see what topics are due, what training topics need to be done by each role. And I'll flesh this out with an example now. Okay, what you'll now see is for each of the roles we have within the company, we've got the accompanying topics that they will need to train. So for our part-time staff, part-time nannies, they need all 3 of the training topics. But for example's sake, admin staff, they don't need the health and safety training, so we're not going to add it there. These are linked to the topics that we've already put on here. Next database is our employees database. This is where we see all the people that we're training, all the people that are working for us. We're going to start this the same way. Add new, empty database, name it. We're going to make it look a bit better by adding an icon, just like so. Now I remember I'm actually going to do it for our roles database as well. Now for this database, we're going to need a few properties, as you can imagine. Name we're going to keep. We're going to add person. Person I'm going to leave out of this for now. Next, we're going to add another relation. We're going to add a relation now to our roles database. And so this will mean we have the employee, and the employee is connected with the role that they actually have in the company. Next, we need their start date. We've got a nice suggestion here. We need their mentor. So we're going to tag another person in here. And this is going to be renamed to mentor. And then we're just going to add a small text box, which is going to be for their additional roles, if they have any. So now that I've filled out this database, we'll see how it works. We have the employee, we have the tagged person in here. The way that this person property works is when you invite someone new, a new hire, onto the team space, they will be added and registered as a person who you will then be able to add in here. We have the roles here, so you'll see what they do, when they started, who the mentor is. Forgive me for not having too many people on this database. And then additional roles, as we have talked about. We'll go through at the end of this video how to actually invite someone to this database or to this team space. Before we do that, we are going to start our training assets database. The training assets database is very simple. It's a log of all of the training material, the videos, the documents, the policies, everything that you have, everywhere that you've already had it, it's going to go in here. So this is where SOP documents, everything important is going to go here. This is your private one. So this is not the database that's going to be viewed by your new hires to train. This is the private one. No one can edit this. No one can even view this apart from you and the people you specifically invite to this database. So this is where training documents are held and made. The properties that we need in here are going to be a few relations. So we're going to need a relation to the roles database. And this is going to show us, we're just going to call this required roles. So required roles. The next one is going to be topics, so another relation to our topics database. With these two relations, we now have each training asset linked to the topic. So a health and safety video is going to go in the health and safety topic section. And the roles relation means we see which roles need each document. The next property we need is a last updated property. So last edited time in here. We're going to do last updated. Like so. So now we've got all of these, I'm going to go back through, I'm going to clean up the document, and I'm going to add some examples as well. Okay, final thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to change this. So I don't really need to view the time at which these were updated. So I'm going to click on this, I'm going to edit property, and I'm going to put it as the British way of viewing things. So day, month, year. I'm going to hide the clock. Now I just see the date. This is much more clean. I'm also now going to just shrink everything down a little bit. The last database we need to do is our most important. It's the assignments database. This is the database where all the magic happens, really. This is where the new employees, the new hires, are going to see their tasks, are going to complete their tasks. This is where you're going to track their tasks. This is the document. So everything else is just about running your business, setting up the system, but this is the document that counts. So we need to make sure we get this one right. First property, the name of the assignments. Nice and simple there. Next, like the training assets databases, we need two relations. We need a relation to roles called required roles. And we need a relation to topics. I'm going to call it training topics. Next, we need to give the assignment to someone, right? We're training up people, and so we need the person property. We then need the due date, because the task is for someone, it's due at some time. We then need to see a checkbox, and the checkbox is going to be, it's going to tell us whether the task has been completed or not. So you complete a task, you check the box, nice and simple. And finally, we need to see the date that the task was completed. Cool, now we have the date of completion on here as well. You'll see that this is a bit more of a complicated database. The good thing is you will need to see all of these things, but your new hires won't need to be bombarded with information. They won't see all of these properties on this database. Now we need to add the training tasks on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste from the training assets. So the assignments, that's the publicly accessible database. Assignments is the private one. I really recommend keeping that as the case. But in order to copy all of these, I can just click in here, Control copy, Command copy and Command paste on my device. In here, I'm going to add these all in. Now, I'm going to need to add in all of these properties, but you'll see we have these named one. I'm going to rename them and clean this all up now. It's now time to really explain how this system works now that we've got the assignments database. So we're going to finish this video by building out the training hub. But all the training hub really is it's just a view of the assignments database. So you're going to add other things onto the page as well to make it a bit more complete, make it look nice for your new hires. But ultimately, all that's really going on is it's a page with a view of this database. To apply this training system, to get this actually working, here's what you need to do. At all times, you need on the assignments database a copy of each training task that isn't assigned to anyone. Because what you're going to do is you have someone new that you need to train. You're going to copy these tasks. You're going to paste them onto this. You're going to choose a person on the database, assign it to them. I'm going to drag down in this bottom corner here, and that's going to give them all of these tasks. Now we've got the blank tasks. These won't be applied to anyone. These are like our templates. And then we've got these tasks, which Sam Finden will be able to go onto this database, filter for him, and he'll be able to see these tasks. That's how the database works. So Sam goes onto the training hub. He sees the tasks that are due for him. He does them. He ticks them. You see his progress. He sees his progress. His training is completed. You give him an interview. He's ready to go, hopefully. So that's really the system. So if Sam leaves, you can just copy all of these tasks, delete them, all good. If he's done his training and you just want to get rid of them as well, you can do that as well. Once you've applied these tasks to Sam, they're due for him, you can then add in the due date, you can then add in the task status, and he can add in the date of completion when he's done them. So that's really how the system works. Now, we're actually not done on this view because we're going to add some filters and some ways of sorting this database. We're going to add a few filters. The first filter is going to be the person. Now, because this is a team space, some of these changes, like this filter, you're going to save for everyone, which means whoever goes onto this database will have the filter of person on here. That's your way of viewing this, and their way of viewing this. They're going to see the tasks, so Sam Finden is going to see the tasks that's due for him. If you just want to adjust this, so you just want to adjust the tasks for Sam, you have that filter there for you as well. The next filter we're going to add is training topic. Again, we're going to save for everyone. This means you can see all of the tasks that are in each topic. Maybe every few months you go in, you update the training tasks. Maybe it's once a year or something, depending on how many people this system is training, how fast your company is evolving. You're going to go in here. You can just go in, adjust the tasks for safeguarding, and that's the job done. Okay, so there we go. The other one we're going to do is we're going to add a sort, and the sort we're going to add is by due date, ascending. So this isn't relevant at the moment because we haven't got any tasks that are due for anyone, but this will mean you'll be able to see, and the new hires will be able to see when tasks are due. The ones that are due sooner, they're going to see sooner. Nice and simple. Now we need to build the front end. So we built the back end with all the databases. Now it's time to build the front end, the training hub for all of your new employees. So we're not going to go in now and create an empty database. We're going to create an empty page. You're going to name this your company and your company's training hub. Before we do any of that though, it's important to note that this can really look however you want. So you have a lot of control when it comes to this document. I'm going to lay it out how I suggest. You could lay it out one way of doing it, but all you really need, if you want to keep it really minimal, all you really need is the view of the assignments database. So we've got the title in here. We want to add an icon. If you have a company badge or logo, use that. I don't, because this is not a real company, so I'm not going to add one. The same as the cover. A cover is a really nice way of making your document look much nicer. But again, if you have a website, use whatever company banner you have. I'm then going to include a brief description of the company in here. And I'm now going to do 3 dashes to create a line below. What we're going to do next is we're going to click /2C, and that will create 2 separate columns. In the first one, I'm going to do a text explanation of the document. And in the other one, I'm going to click /video, and I'm going to upload a video that explains the document. So I've now got the explanation of the document on here. I've got the text one, I've got the video one. This is being embedded. So this video is an embedded video. So I've used Descript for this video that's embedded. Descript is a free video editing tool. They're not paying me to say this. It's just what I've used here. I quite like it. You could alternatively do a YouTube video or a video from Google Docs. You need to pay for the Plus Notion membership to upload a video onto here. I don't think you really need that feature. So, the video on here works just fine. This title was achieved by doing /2 and then adding heading 2 in there. So that's how you get this, your training hub explained. Again, make this look how you want. The other thing I've done is you'll notice that this is narrower, but what I've got here is wider because I can drag in from the side. This is what you're probably seeing at the moment. I drag in here and I drag it out to get it wider or wider or wider again. Okay, and this is just all a matter of preference. Below this, 3 dashes, and in here I'm now going to add the view, the critical view of the assignments database /database. inline database, and what we're going to upload is our assignments database. Here we go. This doesn't look very good at the moment. We're going to really clear this up, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in some filters. Well, we've actually already got our filters, if you remember right, but we're going to just say, I just want to see the tasks for this person. Okay, so I'm Sam, I'm doing the training videos and documents and SOPs and whatever for Sam. I just want to see that view. I'm not going to save it for everyone. So one thing you'll need to say in your video explanation is when they're doing these, when they select this, and I recommend just sharing your screen and doing this, they're not going to save it for everyone. They're just going to save it for them. But I don't really like how this database is being displayed, and so I'm going to add a new view. Next to the title, I'm going to add plus, and we're going to do a gallery view. Okay, and still it doesn't look amazing here, so I'm going to show you how to clean this up. In settings, layout, we are going to not have that big weird card because we haven't added images or covers to any of these. We can just remove that. Card size preview, we're going to go small to make it slightly smaller. This is much better when you have more and more tasks. I, at the moment, don't have a very realistic amount of tasks on here. Next, we're just going to change the load limit to 100. This will mean we can load up to 100 tasks. Not a big important detail there. When we go back, we're going to click property visibility. This is quite important. So if I show all, we see too many properties here, but we see who the tasks are for, the task status, the task topic. That's too much. I don't want to see the date of completion. I do want to see the due date. I do want to see the person. I don't want to see the required roles at this point. I don't really need to see the training topic at this point. But I would like the task status. So there we go. That cleans things up a bit. Now, on your view of the assignments database, I would recommend going through and just removing the one of each of these. I think that just makes everything look better. Go back to gallery view. I'm also on this gallery view going to add a sort, and I'm going to sort by due date again. Now, this isn't relevant at this point because we haven't got any due dates on here, but if we did, it would show us which are the most important tasks and not. You can then design a learning experience. So on the first 2 days of being onboarded at a company, at Bright Start, for example, you could track it so you have the health and safety tasks are due for the first 2 days. The next 2 days are going to be about safeguarding, and you can add a kind of roadmap on to this training hub if you wanted to do that. Now that we've got the database in place, we're going to do our 3 dashes again. We're going to do /1 for a new heading, and the heading is going to be our values. So in this made up Bright Start company that I've got, we're using a care value system. So C, A, R, and E each stand for different things. Because I've got 4 company values, I'm going to do /4C. If you had 2 values, /2C would work. And you'll see now that I can add these 4 things in. Once I've added in the values, I'm going to show you how to make things look a bit better. Okay, so I've now copied and pasted in our values. I've made these heading 2s, so /2 to get that, and I've also given them a colour in text colour here. I'm also going to drag them out to make them look much better. I mean, that just looks so much better. So I've got our values in here. Below this, again, note that this is all extra stuff you can include. You can include videos and images as this goes. 3 dashes. Below this, I'm going to paste a section about the team. So imagine that a new hire opens this document, they request access to the assignments database, and this is what they see. So you want as much here to give them a complete sense of your company before they've even done any of the training. They would have seen the website, so you want more information than just what's on the website. And on here, the other section we're going to include, /1, is a section on our team. The way that I'm going to do this is with /2C to to get 2 columns. The first one /again to get image. So I'm going to embed an image of the person, and then on the other side a brief description of who they are. And there we have it. So our team, our values, the assignments that they actually need to do, an explanation of the document, a nice banner for your company, and that's the training hub. As I've said, add as much or as little as you want here. This is really up to your creative mind and your time, but that's the system. Now we've got the front end and a back end all sorted. Again, edit this page as much as you'd like. We now need to share it with our new hires. In order to do this, we go to the 3 dots. We are going to make a duplicate of this. We're going to rename this with the person, maybe their initials. Let's say we're training someone called Adam's Bright Start Babysitting Training Hub. Now that we've got the duplicate, so in this case Adam's just got his own, share. We add in his email address here, adam@gmail.com. We're going to invite them. They click the link that's in their inbox. They then will need to open it. So I'd recommend doing this with the new hire. They then need to open it, request access to the assignments database, and then the system runs. They do the tasks, you sit back, you track it, and that's your training. That is the free Notion onboarding system, getting you results as good as any paid software for free. Thank you for watching.